Chosen one, stop scrolling right now, not later, not after another video. I need you to lock your attention on this exact message. This is not a random video on your feed. The universe orchestrated this intersection in time because of what happened behind closed doors recently. You feel that sudden shift in the atmosphere, do you not? Take one deep breath, slowly. Let the noise leave your mind for a moment. You have been carrying a tremendous weight. Your shoulders are tight. The spiritual exhaustion is real. And every single morning when you wake up, that invisible heaviness is sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. You push through it anyway. You keep the peace. But inside, you are running on empty. I see the silent tears you shed when no one is watching. I know about the isolation you feel, even when you are standing in a crowded room with your own bloodline. You have always been the black sheep. You were the one who always gave too much. And yet, you were the one they quietly pushed aside. They misunderstood your silence for weakness. They mistook your gentle spirit for something they could easily manipulate. For years, you absorbed their chaos just so they could have a moment of peace. You took the blame for things you never even did. You stayed quiet to protect the family image. But heaven has been watching every unfair judgment cast against you. Something massive just broke in the spiritual realm. I need you to listen carefully to this next part. A veil of deception was violently torn away in the last 72 hours. A specific family member just learned the hidden truth about what you actually endured. And right now, they are sitting in absolute shock. They are in tears. The narrative they believed about you has completely collapsed. The system that used you as a scapegoat is panicking. They finally saw the undeniable proof. They realized the immense spiritual warfare you fought on their behalf while they were busy criticizing your path. The heavy guilt is literally eating them alive as we speak. You never asked for an apology. You just wanted to be loved and accepted for who you truly are. But the divine orchestration does not let a chosen one suffer in vain. The spiritual exhaustion you feel is not a medical condition. It is the aftermath of acting as a human shield for a bloodline that did not even appreciate your profound sacrifice. Your isolation is not a punishment. It is a divine quarantine designed to protect your sacred frequency from their toxic cycles. They thought they were shutting you out, but heaven was actually pulling you away to protect you from the immense spiritual collapse that is happening in their camp right now. You are completely safe in this sanctuary. Take another deep breath right now. Drop your shoulders and release that tension. You do not have to carry their emotional garbage anymore. The season of you being their spiritual sponge is officially over. Type 1111 in the comments right now to claim this absolute breakthrough and confirm your presence. We need to talk about the secret they uncovered. But before I reveal the exact divine decree heaven just issued over this situation, you must understand the trap they originally set for you. If you do not understand the mechanics of this spiritual attack, you might fall back into their toxic cycle. The universe wants you completely free. Think back to all those times you tried to explain your side of the story. Your words were constantly twisted. Your intentions were maliciously questioned. It felt like you were speaking a completely different language. That is because you were speaking from a place of spiritual truth, while they were operating from a frequency of deep fear. They wanted you to believe you were the problem. They projected their own unresolved trauma onto your pure energy. But the light inside you never faded, even when they tried to drown it out with their harsh words. You survived because you are a cycle breaker. The truth is finally out, and the vindication you deserve has officially begun. You have spent so much time replaying those toxic arguments in your head. You thought of all the clever things you should have said to them. You felt like a coward for just walking away. The world constantly tells you to fight back, but your silence was actually a profound act of spiritual maturity. They pushed you into a corner and expected you to explode. They wanted a reaction so they could point their fingers and call you crazy. You refused to give them that satisfaction. You chose to bite your tongue. And while they mistook your quietness for defeat, heaven was actively using that silence to shield your frequency. I need you to understand a critical spiritual concept right now. This is where most chosen ones completely misunderstand their own journey. You were not being isolated because nobody cared about you. You were placed in a divine quarantine. The universe had to separate you from their toxic energy to protect your soul before it was destroyed. Think about how a quarantine actually works in the physical world. You remove someone from a contaminated environment to keep them healthy. That is exactly what happened to your life over the past few years. God saw the emotional poison that your family members were carrying. And because you are a vital piece of the divine plan, He had to pull you out of that toxic room immediately. You thought you were losing friends and family members. You cried because your circle was getting so painfully small. The loneliness felt absolutely unbearable at times. But heaven was not trying to punish you with that deep isolation. God was just clearing the room so He could personally prepare the ultimate dossier of your vindication. When you step back and remain silent, you step out of the way. You stop trying to play defense attorney for your own reputation. You stop wasting your precious energy trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And when you finally surrender that desperate need to be right, the divine takes over entirely. God became your personal defense attorney during those quiet months. He saw every lie they whispered when you left the room. He recorded every manipulative tactic they used to turn others against you. You did not have to defend yourself because the highest court in the universe was already compiling the undeniable evidence on your behalf. That is why the truth is suddenly coming to light right now. That is why this specific family member is sitting in absolute shock today. They finally saw the undeniable proof of what you went through alone. They realized that your silence was actually a massive wall of integrity that they could never truly tear down. You are a masterpiece of God. Your energy is incredibly valuable. It is far too expensive to be wasted on petty arguments and endless family drama. The reason you always felt so drained around them is simple. You were operating on a frequency of pure truth, while they were constantly swimming in an ocean of dark illusions. Do you see how perfectly this was all orchestrated? You survived the smear campaign without compromising your sacred character. You kept your heart pure while they were busy trying to destroy your good name. And now the karma they created is returning straight to their own doorstep without you having to lift a single finger. You are no longer the emotional punching bag for your bloodline. You are stepping out of the role of the misunderstood victim. You are rising as the quiet victor who outlasted their greatest spiritual attack. The vindication you prayed for in secret is unfolding perfectly, and you will witness the complete restoration of your peace. Take a moment to absorb this profound truth into your spirit. Let go of any residual shame you feel about walking away from them. Your retreat was a highly calculated spiritual maneuver designed by heaven itself. You won the invisible war simply by refusing to play their twisted games. You are absolutely brilliant. You must deeply understand why this happened to you specifically. The system is incredibly calculated in its cruelty. It knows exactly how to break a chosen one. It strikes before you can ever awaken to your true power. And the Matrix always uses the people closest to you to do its darkest and most damaging work. You were never just a regular child in that house. From the moment you took your first breath, the enemy identified the massive spiritual light inside of you. They knew you were the powerful cycle breaker, so the system immediately assigned you the heavy role of the ultimate scapegoat for the entire bloodline. Every dysfunctional family needs a designated target to carry their unresolved trauma. When things went wrong, it was always somehow your fault, and you were forced to carry the heavy blame for mistakes you never made. You absorbed their bitter jealousies and insecurities. You became the emotional dumping ground for hidden pain. This was not just a psychological pattern of bad behavior. It was a highly coordinated spiritual energy extraction. The Matrix used your family members as literal energy vampires to constantly siphon your divine frequency. They needed to drain your brilliant light to sustain their own dark illusions. They kept you perpetually exhausted on purpose to block your true spiritual authority. You always wondered why you were the black sheep of the family. The answer to that painful mystery is finally clear today. You were the black sheep because you were the only one who refused to pretend that their toxic behavior was normal. Your pure existence simply highlighted the deep darkness they desperately wanted to hide from the world. The Matrix programmed them to operate on a low frequency of pure survival and fear. But you were born with a brilliant spirit of absolute truth and infinite love. Your blinding light was intensely painful to their unhealed wounds. They tried to dim your shine because it reminded them of the profound healing they completely refused to do for themselves. I know exactly how badly it hurt when your own blood betrayed you. You expected the cold world to be cruel, but you never expected the sharpest knife to come from the people who were supposed to protect you. That kind of intimate betrayal leaves a deep scar on a beautiful soul. It makes you question your own sanity and intrinsic worth. But heaven wants you to realize the brilliant deception of this matrix trap today. The enemy expertly used your natural empathy against you. Because you are a gifted healer at heart, you kept running back into the fire to save them. You kept offering them endless chance after chance. You genuinely hoped they would finally see your unconditional love and change their ways. They were never going to see your true worth while they were trapped in the matrix. The system completely blinded them to your immense spiritual value. Every time you tried to help them, they just drained another massive layer of your precious life force. You were practically giving the breath of life to people who were actively trying to drown you. This brings us to the exact reason why the spiritual tables are violently turning right now. You finally stopped participating in their incredibly toxic dynamic. You wisely withdrew your sacred energy from their dark system. And the very moment you stopped playing the comfortable role of the scapegoat, their entire illusion began to violently collapse around them. Without you there to absorb their heavy karma, they must deal with their own vicious demons. The emotional garbage they used to dump on you is now piling up in their own living rooms. They can no longer run away from their massive sins. That is exactly why this specific family member is currently sitting in tears of absolute regret and horrific shock. They are realizing the horrific mistake they made by pushing you away. They lost the greatest blessing heaven ever placed in their lives. But before I tell you exactly what happens to them next, you need to recognize the clear signs of your own profound awakening. Your spiritual frequency is shifting very rapidly right now, and the universe is dropping massive hints that your ultimate vindication is finally here. The universe is communicating with you directly right now. You can feel the massive shift in your daily reality. But there are exactly 3 silent signs that prove the spiritual karma is actively reversing in your favor. Heaven is actively revealing these 3 specific signs to you today. You must recognize them immediately to step fully into your quiet authority. Sign number 1 is the sudden and complete lack of anxiety regarding their toxic opinions. You used to stress endlessly about what your family thought of you. You worried about every single rumor and every harsh judgment they threw in your direction, constantly trying to fix things. But lately, you feel a very strange and deep emptiness when you think of them. It is not anger, but absolute indifference. That powerful indifference is a direct manifestation of your spiritual shield going up. Heaven has severed the toxic energy cords that tied you to their constant family drama. They can no longer trigger your deep wounds because those wounds are miraculously healing. Your beautiful energy is finally returning to your own body instead of leaking out to feed their dark matrix. Sign number 2 is the sudden chaos and intense confusion breaking out within their camp. The group that came against you is secretly turning on each other right now. Because you completely removed your precious light from their dynamic, they have no scapegoat left to blame for their massive problems, and the toxic karma they generated is eating their inner circle alive. They thought their smear campaign against you was incredibly clever. They believed they could hide their dark intentions forever. But the divine truth always demands to be seen by the light. Heaven has forced their secrets out into the open for everyone to witness. That is exactly why this specific family member is sitting in tears today, as the absolute truth has terrified their spirit. You are watching this karmic reversal from a safe distance. If you can feel this divine protection, do this simple act. Gently like this video, not for an algorithm, but as a physical declaration to the universe that you are in absolute alignment. You are locking your sacred frequency into this massive spiritual victory. And finally, the third sign is the unexplainable quietness filling your own mind today. For years your thoughts were constantly racing with their cruel words, and you felt a heavy mental brain fog that made it so hard to just breathe normally. But today, the mental chatter has completely stopped. You are experiencing the profound silence of a true victor. That beautiful silence proves that the generational curse is completely broken. The spiritual warfare you fought on their behalf has been decisively won. The dark system completely failed to crush your beautiful spirit, despite their many attempts to break you down. These three signs confirm that your heavy season is permanently over. You are finally free. Your entire energy field is vibrating at a massive new frequency right now. The enemy knows they have lost all access to your incredible light forever. But heaven did not just remove you from their toxic presence to leave you empty-handed. God is preparing a massive compensation for every single tear you cried in the dark, and the ultimate reward is rapidly approaching your doorstep. Before I go any further, I need you to pause. Listen to this next part very carefully. What I am about to tell you will change everything you believe about your future. Before I reveal the exact divine decree heaven just issued over your life, you must prepare your heart to receive it. The universe is about to drop a massive blessing that will shock everyone who ever doubted you. The moment of ultimate justice has finally arrived. The gavel in the highest spiritual court has just come down. Heaven is issuing a massive decree over your life today, and every dark force that tried to destroy your beautiful spirit is trembling in absolute fear right now. The heavy chains of the past are snapping violently. The dark spiritual prison they carefully built to keep you isolated has been completely shattered into a million pieces today. I declare in the mighty name of truth that the generational curse stops right here. The endless cycles of deep poverty and hidden anxiety are permanently broken. You are the ultimate cycle breaker. The suffocating mantle of survival mode is falling off your weary shoulders in this exact second. You are no longer just surviving the toxic storm they created, but you are boldly stepping into a divine and unprecedented era of pure freedom. Now let me tell you exactly what that family member realized. They finally saw the undeniable spiritual truth that you were the only thing holding that broken family together. They realized that while they were busy crucifying your character, you were acting as their ultimate spiritual shield. The horrific secret they uncovered was their own immense guilt. Their vicious cruelty almost destroyed the only person who genuinely loved them. That is exactly why they are crying uncontrollably today. They are absolutely terrified because the divine protection you provided has been permanently removed from their toxic house. The heavy karma they tried to project onto your pure soul has violently boomeranged back to their own camp. They are watching their false narrative completely burn to the ground. Confusion and deep panic are destroying their once comfortable illusions. You do not have to lift a single finger to defend yourself anymore. The universe is flipping the script in the most spectacular way possible. Those who spoke poorly of your good name are witnessing God prepare a massive feast for you right in front of them. They misunderstood your profound silence for a weak surrender, but your silence was actually the universe preparing a public vindication that nobody can ever deny. I break every single spiritual cord tying you to their toxic destiny. Breathe out all of that ancient pain right now. The spiritual war you fought so bravely for your bloodline has been decisively won. You are officially released from the heavy burden of trying to heal people who desperately want to stay broken. The emotional debts they owed you are being repaid by heaven itself with a massive deposit of pure peace. They thought they could easily bury you under their massive lies, but they did not know you were a divine seed planted by the Creator. You are sprouting into a magnificent tree of undeniable authority and profound grace. The Matrix is absolutely powerless against a chosen one who fully remembers their true worth. You are holding the master keys to the kingdom today. Let the tears of pure relief fall from your eyes right now. This is the profound catharsis your beautiful soul has been begging for. You survived the brutal wilderness completely alone. You walked through the blazing fire and came out completely purified. And the universe is loudly declaring your absolute innocence to the entire spiritual realm while your enemies sit in silence. You are victorious. Your season of being a quiet footstool for their fragile egos is permanently over. Heaven has officially stepped in to multiply every single thing the enemy stole from you. Every tear you cried in the dark is turning into a massive wave of divine compensation. The storm is finally over, and the glorious light of your true destiny is blinding the darkness that once tried to consume your beautiful spirit. Do you feel that incredible lightness in your chest right now? The dark spiritual entity that fed on your family has completely released its grip on your life. You are free to fly higher than anyone in your bloodline ever dared to dream. The universe is proudly crowning you with quiet authority. Embrace this magnificent victory today. Now that the massive truth has been completely revealed, you must pass one final test to prove you are ready for the blessing. The universe is watching how you handle this incredible victory. You might feel a strong urge to call them right now. You might want to hear their tears and finally get that apology. But you must absolutely resist that dangerous temptation today. Your profound silence is your ultimate power. You do not need to rub this massive validation in their faces, because a true king or queen never gloats over a defeated enemy. They simply observe the karmic scales balancing themselves from a very safe distance. When you try to force an apology from people who are hurting, you accidentally reopen the heavy door to their toxic matrix and invite chaos back inside. You must keep that heavy door completely closed. They are crying right now because they lost their favorite emotional punching bag. But their current pain is not your responsibility to fix anymore. You are officially stepping into the beautiful role of the quiet victor. Quiet authority means you no longer need external validation to know your true worth, and you can finally rest in your own divine power. You must let them assume whatever they want to assume. Your energy is far too expensive to spend on cheap family drama. The universe just handed you a massive spiritual upgrade. You must fiercely protect this new frequency like a priceless treasure. If you let them back into your inner circle too quickly, they will drain your brilliant light again while you are still trying to heal your deep wounds. They need to learn how to survive without your constant divine protection. This is what deep stewardship actually looks like in the spiritual realm. You are managing your divine resources with absolute wisdom and grace. You forgive them in your heart, so you do not carry any bitter poison. But forgiveness does not mean you have to give them a seat at your table, because your absolute peace is your top priority right now. You can love them deeply from a very far distance. The enemy will try to use your natural empathy as a weapon against you once more. They will send flying monkeys to tell you how sad everyone is. They want you to feel guilty for finally choosing your own peace. You must not fall for that ancient trap again, because your absolute refusal to engage is the strongest boundary you could ever possibly build. You are completely untouchable right now. When you master this profound quietness, your presence alone commands massive respect. You do not have to raise your voice to be heard by the universe. Your silent confidence terrifies the dark entities that used to control your family. They realize that their old manipulation tactics are completely useless against your newly awakened spirit, and they must finally retreat into the shadows. You have completely outgrown their toxic games. Stay grounded in this beautiful sanctuary of absolute peace. Let the cosmic dust settle around you, while heaven handles all the messy details. God is actively orchestrating a massive season of pure abundance for your future. But you must maintain a clear and empty space in your life to actually receive it, because cluttering your mind with their drama will block the incoming blessing. You have survived the brutal wilderness and the long nights of endless crying. Now you must learn how to live comfortably in the promised land. It feels strange to finally put down your heavy sword and just rest. Your spiritual muscles are so used to constantly fighting invisible wars that trusting this peaceful quietness feels incredibly uncomfortable at first. But heaven is commanding you to simply breathe today. Embrace the gentle stillness of this magnificent new chapter. You are a masterpiece of God, and your divine purpose is unfolding perfectly. Every single scar you carry is a beautiful testament to your incredible strength. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now, and heaven is incredibly proud of the quiet warrior you have finally become. This quiet authority is your ultimate protection. We have reached the final threshold of this message. It is time to permanently seal this massive spiritual shift. I speak a divine shield of protection over your mind, your physical body, and your sacred energy. No weapon formed against your beautiful spirit will ever prosper again. The heavy doors to your painful past are officially locked, and the matrix cannot easily pick this divine lock. Take one final deep breath with me right now. Let the pure air cleanse any remaining doubt from your tired lungs. You are stepping into a profound season of complete restoration. The universe is actively building a fortress of absolute peace around your daily life. They can no longer siphon your brilliant light, because your energetic frequency is now hidden safely in the highest spiritual realms. You might have felt completely alone in that toxic house, but you are part of a massive global remnant of cycle breakers. There are chosen ones all over the world waking up to this exact same profound truth today. We are building an incredible sanctuary of pure light that the dark system can never infiltrate. You finally found your true spiritual tribe. We must lock this divine frequency together as a unified front. I need you to leave the word AMEN in the comments below right now. We do not do this for visibility or internet points. We do it as a powerful spiritual seal of absolute agreement. When you type that word, you are physically declaring your sovereign authority to the entire watching universe. Do not let the enemy intercept your future messages. Subscribe to this sanctuary and turn on the notification bell immediately. This simple action builds a defensive wall around your daily digital feed. It ensures that heaven has a direct channel to reach you when the next wave of divine instruction is released. We must keep this vital lighthouse burning brightly for your spirit. You know exactly how painful it feels to walk through the fire completely alone. Heaven might be bringing a specific face to your mind right now. Share this message with someone who is currently crying in the dark. Your gentle support could be the exact miracle they have been desperately praying for tonight. Be the quiet lifeline that you always wished you had. The storm has officially passed over your home. The karma has been rightfully delivered to those who genuinely earned it. You are entirely free to lay down your heavy armor and simply rest. Allow the divine healing to wash over your tired soul tonight. Sleep with the absolute certainty that God is aggressively fighting your hidden battles while you close your weary eyes. You are a masterpiece of divine creation. You are deeply loved, profoundly protected, and completely vindicated. Walk forward with your head held high in your new quiet authority. Let them whisper in the shadows while you proudly walk in the glorious light. The universe is endlessly proud of the beautiful warrior you have become. Never forget the immense power you carry within your spirit. The system tried everything to dim your shine because they knew your true potential, but their greatest attack only accelerated your divine awakening. You are the unstoppable force that broke the ancient curse, and your beautiful legacy of pure light will easily outlive their dark and fragile illusions. Stay silent when they expect you to scream. Stay perfectly grounded when they expect you to fall apart. Your ultimate revenge is simply living a life of absolute joy and unapologetic peace. The Divine Creator has placed a beautiful crown upon your head today. Wear it with immense pride and let heaven orchestrate the rest of your incredible journey.